Hi, friends. Welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg, and thank you so much for being here. Episode 3. Okay, before we get into dating apps, that's what today's topic is going to be on. Let's do a little week recap. So last week was Valentine's Day, and I know by the time you're hearing this that this is long gone, but y'all had been asking me what Carter did. So Carter had class until 5, I believe, but he came home around 6 or 6:30. He said, "Don't do anything, don't get dressed up, chill out. I've got it all figured out." And Carter walks through the door with pink roses, the cutest freaking card. Carter is so good at cards and professing his love, confessing his love, professing, whatever word it is, his love in written form. So I just love his cards. And he made us steak and lobster, okay? And these like potato wedges, which you would think the steak and lobster would be the main attraction, but these wedges that he made, basically he fried oil or he heated up oil. He put the potatoes in, he would take them out. He would put more oil in and redo, and they become like potato wedges. Oh, they were so good. And then we played games, Sequence, Yahtzee. We haven't played our games in so long. If you guys don't know, me and Carter are grandparents at heart. So we play Yahtzee, we play Sequence, and we play card games like Rummy. And we just had ourselves a little night, which has been so great because he's been so stressed with school this semester, more than I've ever seen him. He has a paper this semester, finals. He's got to do community service, the whole thing. So he's been really stressed. He's been getting sick. It's been a hot mess. So it was nice to just have a night that he cooked for me. We were just in the kitchen chatting and like goofing around. It was so much fun. And it was nice because he was like totally not stressed that night. It's hard for him to turn it off, but he was able to, which I loved. I'm trying to think what else has happened. I made a really good taco recipe, you guys, this weekend. Maybe that's what I should start sharing. It was like a salsa verde chicken. So basically just in a crock pot, you put salsa verde, just the chicken, a few little seasonings, and then let that sit all day. And then we did avocado. Oh, and Carter made this sauce that was really good. It was like a cilantro lime. It had like sour cream, I believe. It was really good. I'll have to ask him for that recipe. Best tacos ever. Like then we ended up making it the next night as well. So I'll have to add that somewhere, wherever you guys, probably Instagram, I'll start sharing recipes. But other than that, yeah, Carter's been busy. Just honestly, he's gone to the library every day and I'm just living my best life. Okay, with all of that being said, I'm going to make this more of a lighthearted, fun, not as preachy episode, although I love giving you guys advice. We're going to start talking about the dating apps. Okay, I thrived on the dating apps. And first, I want to talk about Cutie Carter and I's experience on the dating apps. If y'all are new here, I imagine you aren't. And you already know this story. I met my boyfriend Carter on Hinge, okay? I am a Hinge stan. Hinge is my favorite app, okay? Let's first talk about that. You have Hinge, which I think is the mecca because of the information that you provide. I think just the aesthetic of it, but also they were the first ones to really do like occupation and height and all of those other little things on there where they went to school. I feel like what Hinge gives you, you are able to then Google somebody, which is helpful because when you are meeting people online, it's scary, right? And with the photos, I just think Hinge is the best. The worst, in my opinion, is Bumble. And hear me out, because I don't know where they got it twisted, thinking that women messaging first is like women forward, women empowerment. I think it's the opposite. In today's world of dating online, okay, I think it's already a lot easier for men, right? And then you add having women message first, which is such a little thing. I get it. But also, it's such a little thing, so why can't men message first? I think because if you've ever been on Hinge, you see how many guys don't message first because they're on it using it as like a social media. Really, they're using it to pass time, to feed their ego, to get matches, not to really date. So I think when women already are on there, okay, we're doing our thing just like them. I want a man who's going to pursue. I want a man who's going to reach out first, which again, it's so dumb, but I've always hated Bumble because I never message first. I never, ever message first. I feel back in the day I used to when I was like more desperate and wanting male attention and it never went well. It never went well. I was always the one then trying to get the conversation going, trying to get the date to happen. Like, no, the men need to come to you. Okay, that's just my thought on that. Tinder had its moment. I was on Tinder way back in the day, like college, and I don't even think Hinge was out then. And then when I moved to Dallas, but that's way more casual, I feel. I feel like that's a hookup app. And of course, can you meet probably decent guys on there? Yeah. But I just think Hinge is the best of the best when it comes to dating apps. And I obviously met my boyfriend Carter, and we're gonna go through me and Carter's exchange, and I want to look at Carter's profile. I found these videos in my best friend and I's text messages. Oh my gosh, it's so funny seeing cutie Carter on this app. Honestly, the first time I pulled it up, it kind of triggered me. I'm like, oh my God, this bitch is on the apps. Okay, Carter's first photo is him hiking. Okay, there's mountains going on. He looks so cute. His hair is like messed up. Oh my gosh. I can't believe this was the man I saw like before I knew him. I'm dead. Okay, his first prompt was, I'm convinced that In-N-Out is better than Whataburger, which doesn't mean anything to me because before I met him, I never had any of those. Okay, and then it has his stats. It has, 26, his height, law school, whatever, where he's from. Okay, then the next photo is at a concert. Cutie Carter. Oh my gosh. Oh, and then the next photo is him and his best friend doing a podcast episode. And they're sitting in front of the microphones. And it's so funny because I know this friend so well. This is his best friend and I love him. But it's so funny because at the time, obviously, I didn't know. And then his next prompt is, my self-care routine is hot yoga. Cutie Carter used to do hot yoga. We tried it together at the Core Power by us and it was just not good. Like the instructors were bad. It was a weird vibe. So we stopped going. Also, it's expensive. So once we start making money again, maybe we'll find a different studio. But anyways, hot yoga, Shug's Bagels. If you're a Dallas resident, you know Shug's Bagels is the best. And belting out Heartache Medication, which is by John Party. I'm a country bitch. I was like, okay. Another photo. Ooh, white t-shirt. Pop off, Carter. Oh, this was the prompt that got me. It said, my greatest strength, Irish goodbyes. If there is anything that my friends, my family, anybody that's ever known me can tell you, I'm leaving without saying goodbye. I have quite literally never understood when we go to a social interaction, we all came here knowing that we are going to leave at the end of this. Why do we have to go around and say goodbye to everybody? I don't get it. You knew when I came here, I was going to end up leaving. And guess what? Every time I leave, nobody notices. Nobody notices. Like, who cares? I'll see you guys again. Love ya. Bye. I sneak the fuck out. So when Carter had that, I was like, oh my God, this is my soulmate. Okay, and then there's another photo, him hunting. Oh my gosh. And then there's a photo with him and his dad and his grandpa at a football game, who obviously I now know. And this was a photo I liked. So I liked one of Carter's photos. And here's the thing. I never message first, like said something, but I would like a photo or a prompt or what have you, and then see if they initiate it. So that's where it started. Okay, and then let's go to me and Carter's conversation. I'm dead reliving this with you guys. Okay, before I go into our exchange, I'm gonna show you guys my profile. At the time, I found this through an old TikTok. So I don't know if I should show you the photos if you can even see them. It doesn't matter. But basically, my prompts at the time, the first one was, this year, I really want to play more pickleball, because I was a pickleball stan at the time, right? My next prompt was, something you should know about me is I have a strict bedtime of 9 p.m., which was a great conversation starter. Number one, it tells them like I'm a grandma, but every guy would be like, wait, what time do you get up? Or they would be like, oh my God, late nighter, like I could never. And I'm like, okay, then you're not my BF, because we're going to bed at 9 p.m. Okay. And then my last one was, my most controversial opinion is I would rather be hot than cold, because I've always stood by this. So those were my prompts. Okay. Now let's get into me and Cutie Carter's conversation and how we got onto a date. Oh my gosh. You know what's so funny? I'm going through these photos with my best friend to find the messages that I sent her of our conversations in Carter's profile. Here's a screenshot of Cutie Carter's family that I found on his mom's Facebook before I even knew this man. Here's this photo from his old football team. That's so classic. That is so girlhood, to be honest. Okay, let's get back into the conversation though. So I liked that photo of Carter's, right? And he messaged me on April 5th. Okay, we're coming up on 1 year. Okay, he said, we have the same New Year's resolution. You looking for a pickleball partner? Oh my gosh. Okay, so that was April 5th. I was like so on and off of Hinge at this time, so I didn't answer for a few days. But I said, Carter, yes. Do you play? You are speaking my language. One thing that I always did on dating apps was say their name. The first message, I would say Johnny, Jimmy, Jason. Like, I think it's just I don't know if that's a tactic, but that's just something that I did. I feel like it made it more personable. Okay. Then he answered that same day. He said, I do, but it's been a while. I've got the whole setup, net, paddles, and balls. Do you play? Bitch. I said that my New Year's resolution is to play more pickleball, which I guess that makes sense that he asked if I play. I said, I played a bit last year, but it's been a while because it's hard to find people to play with. He said, well, count me in. Sounds like a great first date idea with a winky face. Ah! Oh my gosh, cutie Carter. I'm dead. Okay. Anyways. Okay, then I answered, I said, it's perfect. I can't wait, with a little scrunchy face, which wasn't the best response. But at this time, I was not really in my dating girl era. I was trying to, but you know how it is with the dating apps. Sometimes you're feeling it and sometimes you're not. That response could have done way better, but Carter did what he had to do, right? He was working with it. And Carter answered and he said, what's your schedule look like this weekend? And I said, I'm pretty open. What do you got going on? You just let me know when and where. Again, these responses aren't that great on my part, but here we are now, so it doesn't matter. He said, is there a pickleball court you like to go to? If not, I think Cole Park has some courts. And this is where I have 2 audio messages to him on Hinge. One for 39 seconds and one for 25. I'm like, a bitch has a lot to say. And honestly, like, this is who I am. So I remember answering because I had to explain that the courts I go to, you had to reserve, but they were perfect. Like, there was a lot of times that you didn't have to reserve. You could just show up, but I like to reserve if I could. So I wanted to tell him, I'm like, hey, actually, there are some in University Park that we can reserve. I just need to know like a day and time. Or we can just show up and hope that they're open. But Cole Park is super busy, so I wasn't sure our likelihood of getting on there. And then I sent him my phone number. So I'm guessing in the audio message, I said something like, here's my number, like, let me know what you think, what day, what time, and I can make the reservation. Oh, and you could only make the reservations 48 hours in advance. So that's what I was explaining to him. Okay, so that took us from Hinge, but here's the thing with dating apps. Like, you want a man who's initiating a date right away. Do you want a pen pal? No, we're on here to go on dates, to meet people. I am a strong believer that texting somebody is such a false sense of familiarity and like also getting to know someone. You think that you're getting their humor and who they are. You're texting. It's words on a screen. Like, you really need to go on the date and meet them to see if you guys even vibe. I just made a video this morning on Love is Blind. Okay, you know the show Love is Blind. If you haven't watched it, basically they put all these people, there's a guy's side and a girl's side, and these people date each other behind a wall. Okay, so they don't know them, but they get engaged this way. They do not meet the person until the man proposes. So they go on however many dates behind this wall, they're chatting, they're getting to know each other that way, but they're not seeing each other, right? And then they meet and then they enter the real world. They go to the villa and have like a honeymoon, so to speak, and they hang out, and then they get introduced to the other people from the experience, and it never goes well because these people think they fell in love behind a wall. Your physical attraction to somebody is so much, even on a dating app, they might look attractive, but people have different mannerisms and like things that, you know, change the vibe. Like, there are so many moving parts to being attracted to somebody that goes far beyond emotional and physical. Like, there's just a vibe. And watching this show really puts it into perspective. Like, when they're in the pods, that's like 2 people meeting on a dating app and talking for weeks and building this person up. And then you go on a date or you start dating them and it's clearly not a fit, but you spent so many weeks leading up to it thinking this is your person before you even met them. And then you can't let go of that. So you're trying to make something fit that's not gonna fit. You know, and I think a lot of people find themselves in this position. And anyways, all of that to say, I'm a big fan of you messaging on a dating app for like 5 to 10 texts. But if he's not immediately initiating a date after that, he's not the one. That's just my opinion. Anyways, back to Cutie Carter. So he texted me. This was Tuesday, April 11th. He said, hey, it's Carter. Let's go to the courts that you go to. I'm good with either Saturday or Sunday. What's best for you? I said, amazing. Saturday works better for me. What time? And he said, how about 10? Is that too early? And I said, no, not at all. That's perfect. And then I sent him the location of the courts. And he said, sounds like a plan. Don't judge me if I suck. And we had a little bit of conversation. 1, 2, 3 texts on Wednesday, 3 texts on Thursday. And then Friday night, he sent me a photo at the courts we were going to with his friends. I was like, oh my God, he's practicing for our date. How fresh. Which he probably was. He would never admit that. But that was Friday night at 8:30. So then he texted me Saturday morning and said, morning, we still on for 10 at the courts? This was at 8 a.m. I said, good morning. Yes, I'm still in if you are. And he said, Williams Park, right? I said, yep, I'm going to head there shortly. And then he said, here, parked next to the bouncy house. There was like a Easter celebration or something happening at the time. And then we had our first date, which was great. It was like an hour and a half. I'm sorry if I'm reliving this and this isn't fun for you guys. And then we left. He had to go study. He was starting his finals at this time. This was, almost a year ago now in April. And I was hanging out with the nanny fam at baseball. And he texted me Saturday, April 15th, 1:46. Thanks again for coming out and playing with me. I had so much fun. If you're up for it and have a free night this week, I'd love to take you out for dinner. Oh my gosh. How fresh. It was like the perfect, I just love our little dating arc, we call it, which was very fast, very quick. But that is how me and Cutie Carter went from the dating apps to dating. Okay, that was our experience. Now let's get into your guys's. Okay, now that I relived that, and I'll have little tidbits, little advice. You guys ask questions, we'll get into those. Number one though, I wanted to start out with dating app red flags. Okay, no's. Things that I don't mesh with. And there are some things that are red flags. For example, a lot of girls, and I've made this video before because it's relatable. A lot of girls have problems with men and pictures with dead fish, men who fish. I'm from North Dakota, and this is so common. I'm sure there are photos of me holding fish, like hello. And if that's a man's passion, like Carter likes fishing, for example, that's like it. It's not the dead fish. And girls, maybe, I don't know where the issue is, but if you're just not into an outdoorsy man who like hunts and fishes, that's fine. But I grew up in North Dakota and that's what everybody does. So it doesn't really faze me. It's not a red flag for me. I'm like, cool, I get it. But a lot of girls don't like that. So if there are any red flags that you see like on social media, on TikTok that are trending, like red flags are subjective to the person. We all are looking for different things in a human. Are there some things that I think just scream red flag for like different obvious reasons? Like he's a cheater, he's a liar, that sort of thing? Yes. But when it comes to preferences on like hobbies and what kind of photos, it's all kind of depends on what you think, So I have a long list here of immediate no's and we're going to go through them. And I think a lot of you commented these as well. So I felt it was fitting. The first immediate no is when a guy has on his Hinge 30 and then you go down and in one of his prompts, he says, actually 35. How the fuck did you put in your age wrong? Either you were being sleazy and gross and trying to lie, or you are just dumb as fuck. Like there's no other option there. How did you put in your birthday wrong? Okay, that's weird. No. Immediate no for me. When you see a man who has a photo with a child, with an infant, with a kid, and he says, not my child. Oh my gosh. Then why did you add that photo? Did you look that good in that photo that you had to add it? No. Odds are, no. Don't add that photo. Like, stop. This is a personal preference of mine. When men have shirtless pics at all, in the gym, in the mirror, ew, why? Like, if this guy is jacked or in good shape, odds are photos of him in regular clothes, you could tell that. We don't need a shirtless pic. It just screams ego. It screams I'm conceited. It screams I'm kind of fucking weird. Like, why are you putting that on your profile? I hate that. Another thing that I hated was when you would see a man's bio on Hinge and any of the information was wrong, like in a funny way. Like there were ones, I'm trying to think, like School of Dead Rock, School of Hard Knocks. What is that? Put your actual school, or did you not go to school? Like, this isn't the time to try and be funny in your actual bio, the information about you, you know? Absolutely not. When a man in one of his prompts puts 6'2", because apparently that matters, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Yes, it matters, but don't say that. Again, you're just being a douchebag. Like, you were literally just being a douche. Nope. Next. If a man has an edited photo or photos with a filter, sometimes, and I feel like this is more of a Tinder thing than a Hinge thing, men with selfies with like the dog filter, are we 15? Be so fucking for real. Are we 15 years old? Or you have like the weird guy who tries and flex money and stuff, or like that's definitely a tool bag, whose teeth are whiter than fucking snow. Like clearly he edited his teeth white. I just know, and this is a pro tip, okay? This is something I would say to myself when on the apps. Would my husband, would my boyfriend have this photo or take this photo or edit this photo? No. I'm telling you right now, my boyfriend would not be editing his teeth white for his Hinge photos, or even worse, if they were for Instagram. Nope. Okay. So think about that when you look at photos. Oh, this one I got from one of you guys. Men who are over the age of 25 that say, looking for short-term fun. Sir, you're graying. You are literally getting gray hair, looking for short-term fun. Or when they wants a wife and kids, okay? But then also looking for short-term fun. What are you talking about? Don't like labels. Sir, you are too old for that. You are far too old for that. On one hand, I want to give it up to them for trying to be honest, but it's just not a good look. Like, it's an immediate no from me. There are a few prompts that we all know and love, and we can say them together, that immediately, just because it's a lack of creativity, are a no. I'm overly competitive about everything. Sir, you literally couldn't just pick one thing. Say basketball, say cooking, say sequence, Yahtzee, board games. Like literally say anything but everything. Anything. The prompts are supposed to teach you a little bit about the person to start conversation. That gives us absolutely nothing. Another one, my most controversial opinion is that pineapple doesn't belong on pizza. Boo! Are we really supposed to have a conversation starting with that? Oh my God, yes, it does. Like, are we not 20 years old? Like, are we not more mature than that? Can you give anything about yourself? Anything, truly. It's not that hard. Okay. And this is why when I look at profiles, I try and find the deeper meaning. Like, this guy clearly isn't actually looking to date if he can't put more than 2 seconds into his profile, or more than a thought into this profile, you know? Oh my gosh. Another one or two, I'm going to morph together, that I absolutely hate. For example, one is like if you see a picture of a guy, and maybe this is a Dallas thing, in a private plane, or the flexy sort of Instagram photos, like when he's in front of a Rolls Royce or whatever. It screams douchebag. It screams not actually my money, because when people are wealthy, they don't do that. Or even if they do have money, that's not the kind of guy I want to be with, that's trying to be flashy and flex all of his money. Like, that's just gross to me. And you just know they're doing that to get girls. Like, you just know they're trying to seem rich to get the girls. So, oh my gosh, and fall in love, and you know, he can buy you gifts and stuff. That's not what I'm looking for. And that goes along with the men who put in one of their prompts, owns a house, owns a boat. Amazing. Such a wonderful accomplishment. But again, it's not the fact that they have the house or they have the boat. Of course, that's like a plus, but they're using that to get more matches, to like flex. And I don't even know, because if you didn't put that and you just put normal prompts, when you go on a first date, like that'll come up that you have a house. Like, I'd rather keep information to myself that would be a dead giveaway to like swipe right on me, like a wonderful, you know, I'm a Virgin Mary. That would get a million swipes from men. I would rather keep that near and dear. That way later it comes out. Like, I want the people to like me for just like who I am, who I look like in the photos, a funny prompt, rather than like owns a house, owns a boat. I think that it shows that these men are insecure and they put these things to get more matches, and I'm just not about it. Oh my gosh, my absolute least favorite, when they have their Snapchat or their Instagram in their prompt. Add me on Snap, follow me on Insta. Are you using this to get more followers? I can promise you, my husband would not be doing that. I just hate that. Snapchat is a whole other thing. I haven't had Snapchat since 2016. That is like 8 years now. Okay, if a man is still using Snapchat, it's just not something I want in a partner, especially just openly putting it out there on Hinge for millions of girls to add on Snap. Like, that's just not the kind of guy I would date. And here's the thing with all of these no's that I'm telling you, if you agree with me on some of these things, you have to put up a boundary and truly not match with these people or give them a chance. Like, that's just it. You have to tell yourself that, like, my husband would not put this on their profile. He's not the one. Don't match. Because the second you're like, well, I kind of just want the match. So you like him and then you start talking when that was a hard no to begin with. If you have a no, if you have a red flag, you have to see it through. Okay. I'm telling you that any man with any of these things was a no for me. I didn't swipe. I wasn't just to get the match. Like, I don't have to talk to them. No, it's a no. Okay. The goal of dating apps is to not get a million matches. Yes, dating is a numbers game, but you want to go on dates with people that you are compatible with, that look like they would be your type, not to just match with this guy, that guy, and the other who might not necessarily follow your guidelines or what you're looking for just to get matches. The goal is to find people that would actually be a good fit for you as a partner. Okay. And I know in times it can seem like, oh my gosh, I don't get that many matches. I have nobody to talk to. I matched with only 10 guys and none of them are saying anything. That's okay. Stay firm in your boundaries because there will be the Carter that comes up, okay, and has the great profile that looks like exactly what you're looking for. Like it happened for me. We went on a date and now we're here, you know, and it takes time. I've been on the apps 2019, 2021, before I met Carter, for a long time doing the game. But the more that you can figure out what you want and stay firm in that, I think you'll be so much better off for it. And again, you have to just enjoy this time of singleness. Be alone. It sucks, but once you're okay being alone and on your own, that is when you will find the better partner for you. Because like I've said before, it'll take an amazing guy to want to take you away from the singleness, from the loneliness. Think about the girls who are desperate for male validation, who just need a boyfriend because they're so insecure. You will pick Joe Schmo off the street just to love you, even though he sucks, because you're so sad and alone. That's not where we want to be. We want to be independent, single, happy, thriving on our own, okay, just chilling. Don't really care if a guy comes into your life or not, because I think that sets you up better to then find the guy that is right and perfect for you. That's just that. Here's another one that kind of depends on the scenario, but a guy who has all photos with girls. If it's every photo with a girl, like, is that your ex-girlfriend? Is that a sister? Because even if that is a sister, that's almost more of a red flag than an ex-girlfriend. It's just weird. Like, do you have any other photos by yourself or with friends? Like, I don't know. I don't like that. Another prompt that I don't like is when a man has swipe left if blank. And I don't care what the thing is. If it's something I like, swipe left if you're a blonde. Okay, cool. I'm a brunette. I just don't like the negative attitude around it. I feel like it's immature and weird. And swipe left if you're this. It's weird. I don't like that. Anyways, that's just a little side tangent. And the last thing that was like a real hard no for me is if a man didn't have all of his information filled out, like his age, his height, where he's from, school, job, like, if all of that information wasn't there, I don't know, it just gave me red flags and I would swipe left, because it's not that hard to put in that information. And I'm here to date a man and also be able to Google you so I can find more about you. So if you don't have the information, I'm not interested. Okay, now I'm just gonna read some of the things that you guys sent me. Okay, here's one message I got. I once had a guy I matched with on Hinge tell me that he liked to become friends with someone before he slept with them because it made him feel better about himself. He then told me he would sleep with someone 2 or 3 times so he didn't feel like it was just a one-night stand, and then he would ghost them. When I told him he was disgusting and I was not going to talk to him anymore or be a girl he slept with, he said I was a very lucky girl because he has a very small tool belt and I now wouldn't have to experience it. Oh my gosh. There were so many messages I got with guys talking about their dick, you know, saying sexual things. I will never understand why they think a girl would want to hear any of that, especially before you've met them. Even after you've met them, it's weird. Like, how do you not have the social intelligence to know that that's fucking weird? Okay, here's another one. Oh my God, a guy's opening line to me on Hinge was, I haven't seen a body like yours since I was burying it in my basement. What the fuck? In what world do you think that would be a good thing to say to a woman? Next. Okay, here's a tip from a girl, which is actually so slay. When I was on Hinge, my biggest hit was, want to go to the most Mariners games. When do you want to go? ? So like she's saying like, I'm trying to go to as many Stars games. Like, when do you want to take me? So good, especially if you like sporting event dates, which I do. She said, also, just so you know, you helped me so much. Oh, this is just a sweet comment. Oh my gosh. Wait, let me just keep reading. So much in dating, and now I'm with one who I think is going to be my husband. Thanks for all you do. Huge fan for almost a year now. Pre-Carter. Love you. Okay, next. Worst dating app experience. Was talking with a 28-year-old male for about 2 weeks. He invited me to a music festival where we had to sleep in a tent for the weekend as our first date. Creepy, red flag. I declined that, but we set up a coffee date. He canceled the day before because he wanted me to know that his age was incorrect on the app. He made a mistake putting in his birthday. How? I digress. And he was actually 34. Not that the age difference is a big deal for me. It's just, why was he pretending to be younger? Exactly. That's so weird. Next. Absolutely not. Okay, here's a Hinge story. This guy matched with me, was so nice, we got along great, etc. He was like 26 or so. Well, we've been chatting consistently for like 2 days on Hinge. He was great at responding. And I said, hey, here's my number. Text me. It's a lot easier. Totally. I hated messaging on Hinge. This man had the audacity to say he wasn't good at texting when he had literally been texting me on Hinge. And then he proceeded to ghost me for asking to text. Like, sir, how do you expect to have a girlfriend? And how are you checking Hinge more than your text? Like, shut the fuck up. That's weird. He probably already has a girlfriend, is what I think. Oh my gosh, you guys, this one is good. This guy liked me, and one of his prompts was, we will get along if my pet raccoon likes you. I was like, oh my God, please no, these Florida men aren't it. Oh my gosh. She then sent me a photo, and I'm not going to show it because I don't want to put anybody's faces. The man, one of his photos, he was like this hillbilly looking man, no offense. Like, I'm from North Dakota, I know the type, with a raccoon right here. Oh my gosh. That's fucking crazy. But I kind of love that. Like, obviously you wouldn't date this man, but like, I kind of want to meet the pet raccoon, no? Somebody sent me a Hinge prompt that said, I'm looking for someone that is still getting over their ex. Shut the fuck up. People that are not over their ex that are in the dating field, get out. Get out. And why would you put that as your prompt? Men need so much help. Let's be real. Okay, one of my girls said, I met my current boyfriend on Hinge. He's my Carter. His profile at the time was bad, but he was 6'9", so all the yellow flags were green, you know? Totally, I get it. He's now my best friend, and it only takes one good dating app match to find your person. You gotta skim through the bad because it only takes one. It's also incredibly hard to gauge and know someone from their profile. You have to keep yourself open, which I totally agree. I know I spent the whole first 30 minutes talking about red flags, but she's so right, which I think there are some things that are just hard no's. You do have to take with a grain of salt. Like, when creating your own profile, I got a lot of questions on how to create the best profile for yourself. It's so hard to market yourself on a dating profile. Like, we're such complex human beings that you really can't. But the only recommendations I can really give you as far as pictures, my biggest advice is number one, don't do any edited photos, and also put like full body photos. Have a close up one of your face, one of your full body, and then whatever else you want. Because with editing your photos, and I don't know, people still use Photoshop or whatever that app is called, you are just setting yourself up to be insecure. Like, you want this man to have a good picture of who you are up front, whether you're a little bit insecure about this on your face, like you have, I don't know, a mole. If you're insecure about your body, it's hard, I know, but hiding it from them and then going to a first date is gonna make you feel so insecure and scared because you know they don't know exactly what you look like. Same if it's super edited or filtered or you have sunglasses in them all. I think better to just make your profile so you, so that these people like you and see you, and that way you won't feel judged on the date when they already have a good look of who you are. And then as for the prompts, I would say make them specific to you. It doesn't really matter the prompt you pick, but just try and pick things about yourself. If you're a big like sports fan, or you like coffee, which like a lot of people do, or you're a book reader, like try and incorporate those things into your prompts, because again, we want people to like us for us and our hobbies. If you only make your profile, I got some girls that gave me good prompts to get a lot of responses, but again, that's not the goal. It's to find men that like you for you and have the same interests. So for example, like I said on mine, the first one was I was trying to play more pickleball because I'm such a sporty girl, and I was at the time. We haven't been able to play lately. I had one about my bedtime because that is a big part of who I am. I'm a go to bed at 9 p.m. kind of gal. And then the hot and cold one wasn't as good. I would change out the prompts as often as I could, but trying to always put something about myself up there so they kind of get an idea of who I am, I think is the best. I can't give you the best prompt. Again, like that girl said that I already talked about, how she had about the Mariners games. Like if you're not a sporty girl, don't do that. Or if you're just trying to appease the men or something catered to what they like, unless you truly like it yourself, don't do that, because that's not the goal. Do you know what I'm saying? I think you guys will understand. Okay, here's a story. I once matched a guy on Hinge and ended up blocking him after like an hour because he seemed a bit strange, and he stalked me on Facebook and sent me a picture he found of me and my ex saying I was cheating. I was baffled and ended up blocking him on that too because I was genuinely scared. That's terrifying. That you were cheating on him? Oh my gosh. There are a lot of psychos out there. So just that's definitely, you need to keep that in the back of your mind. Oh my gosh, I do not miss these messages. This is from a guy. He responded to a girl's photo. Hey, would love to give you a back rub, and that's it. I promise. Heck, I would even pay. LOL. Anyways, I hope you're having a good night. Would love to snuggle and massage your back. That is so fucking weird. Oh, okay. Here's another one. So she was chatting with a guy, right? And the most recent message I see in the screenshot says, person like it does in your photos. Stunning. I can't see the first part, but that's not important. She said, LOL, it would definitely be comical, I'm sure. And you're a sweetie, LOL. This guy, every message from here on out is from him. Kiss me and find out how sweet I am. I'm not going to say her name, but he said, Samantha, I'm trying to get to know you better. What are you looking for? She didn't respond. A couple days later or so, what's up, Katie? Already bored, with a yawning emoji. Then, same night, you have a missed call from John. And then today it says, I want nothing to do with you. Homie, after she didn't respond the first time, let it go. That men just take it so far. It's scary. It's truly scary. Okay, now here's just a few other things that you guys said. Please tell me why all men feel the need to specify women shouldn't take themselves too seriously. Oh my gosh. Do we all see the same prompts? What is that? It's, I'm looking for someone who doesn't take themselves too seriously. What the fuck does that even mean? Next. I don't know if this counts. I told a Bumble guy I was having a panic attack and he sent me back a dick pic. Oh my God. Dick pics are the scariest thing. Never have I ever wanted a dick pic in my life, but that's crazy. Oh my gosh. I apologize. That's not funny. Okay, now I'm going to go through some questions if I see anything else. Okay, here's a good question. Met my boyfriend on Bumble. We lie and say we met at the gym. Thoughts on lying about that to others? I get it, but I used to be that person. I dated a guy before and we met on Tinder, and like, who wants to say that? But truly, it is like modern dating. Like, this is how everybody meets, or a lot of people meet. And it's not embarrassing. Like, me and Carter were just like, yeah, we met on Hinge. And to be fair, me and Carter would have never ran into each other. Like, he's in law school. He's going to start his corporate job. I'm nannying. Like, neither of us go out to the bars. We don't drink. We would have never crossed paths. And he is like truly my person. So I think the narrative around it is changing. And I just challenge you, like, it's not weird. And as we go through life, you'll meet so many couples who met on dating apps. Like, I can think of 10 couples that I know currently that met on the apps. Like, it's so normal now. And again, it's similar to like high school sweethearts that used to be such a like, oh my gosh, they're high school sweethearts. Now I'm like, those people never learned themselves. If I dated the guy I dated in high school, oh my gosh. Which, who's to say, of course, like maybe they picked each other and they are great and they have grown together. Amazing. I'm trying not to dog on it, but a lot of times we fall in love with like the story of it. And that is like such a little part in the actual healthiness and longevity of the relationship, and the quality of it is what I'm trying to say. So, I mean, you can lie, of course, but once you get over it, like, I think it's only hard to tell like grandparents because they don't get it, or parents, but people our age, like, everybody eventually will have met on a dating app. Not everybody, but you know, so I mean, do whatever you want, but like everybody meets on dating apps now. Things you should include and exclude on your profile. Again, whatever you think fits. Like, I just recommend the photos to be photos of you and photos of you from recently. The photos should look like you. And that has nothing to do with other than the fact you want them to know what they're walking into. Have you ever seen a guy's profile and you go there and he's now bald or he doesn't look like his photos? You're like, oh my gosh. And that doesn't mean that who they are is ugly or this, that, or the other. It's just not what you were expecting. I just wouldn't want you to do that to somebody else and then know like what you look like, you know? And also with the prompts, yeah, I think include and exclude whatever you want. I don't think there's some sort of rule book for it. Okay, as far as Hinge prompts, I would challenge you to look on TikTok. I'm not the best at this. I did just Google some so we can go through them. I'm going to just read them. Here's one. First round is on me if you can guess my Hogwarts house correctly. If you're a Harry Potter person, how fun. That's perfect. Or judge that up to your liking. You know, like, first round is on me if you can guess how I take my coffee. Again, what the fuck ever. Maybe that wasn't the best, but it starts conversation. I like that. The secret to getting to know me is literally one glass of wine. Oops. If you're a wine person, amazing. I'm just reading these off of a website. The one thing I'd love to know about you is your death row meal. One thing I'd love to know about you is your Myers-Briggs personality code. I don't know much about that, but I think that could be a good one if you're that person. One thing I'd love to know about you is your coffee order. I think the generic ones are really bad. Like, I'm the type of texter who never responds. That's another prompt I always see. Like, that's not helpful. It's not like, what are you going to say to that? Dating me is like going on vacation for the rest of your life. Okay. Super vague. Like, I think the more specific you can be, the better. Green flags I look for. Oh, this would be a good one. I remember a girl had one about credit score where she put her credit score. Genius. If you have a good one, obviously. But green flags I look for: someone who is financially responsible, or that you could say someone who has a higher credit score than 630. Like, the guys that are finance people will eat that shit up and they'll be like, oh my God, I have a 750 credit score. Oh, this is a cute one. The key to my heart is Taylor Swift Eras Tour tickets. Okay, but a nice dinner will more than suffice. That way you can put a little interest in there. If you're a Swiftie, throw that in there. Okay, cool. I'll fall for you if you also watch serial killer documentaries before bed. Again, these aren't specific to anybody, but I'm just trying to ignite a little idea in your head. Again, I'm reading this from Distractify. I think that's a genius one. Or whatever your interest is. Okay, I'm trying to help you guys the best I can. Okay, I could look at that forever. Honestly, just go on Google and look up and then insert your, like, write a list of things about yourself, like, that are important to you. Hobbies, who you are, your job, if you're like very into your job, and then insert them into the prompts that you see online. Okay, is that helpful? If not, I'm doing the best I can. Okay, I'm gonna read more of the stories and then we're gonna be done. Okay, sorry, this is also a long episode. Go us. I am a tall girl, 6 foot. I had a guy 5'6" on Tinder. First message say, I'd climb you like a tree. I love that. I personally love when guys are like goofy, funny. You know, when they say, what's up? Or they don't message at all. they're probably not my guy, you know, which obviously Carter is not my guy, but you get what I'm saying. Prompt. Typical Sunday, everyman, football, beer. Oh my gosh, in Dallas, it's always church. The prompts are comical in how similar they are. Like, do all the guys get together or are their brains just that alike that they come up with the same thing? I don't know. Somebody had a guy answer to a photo, "You're kind of weird, cute, attractive," if that makes any sense. Is that a compliment? I'm not sure. Oh my gosh, this one shocked me. "Men are so nasty." She said, "Hey, you." He said, "Hi." She said, "How's it going?" He said, "Good." Super random, but would you want to come over and masturbate together and shave each other's pubes? What? Even if that was supposed to be a joke, it's not funny. Like, I just don't understand. A guy literally said, "Have you ever had your ass ate by a fat guy?" in his bio. I do not miss the dating apps. I pray for you guys. I love you. But thank God I'm not there anymore. Oh, somebody said, "My girlfriend and I would like for you to join us on our trip." No, thank you. How many thruples or couples there are looking for a thruple? That shit is freaky. Especially when they're married. I'm like, no. And don't put that on social, like maybe go somewhere else. I would be so embarrassed, which I guess those people are all for it. So never mind. Okay, I'll end with this. Somebody asked, "Please provide advice for them. Sincerely, a girl who's scared of them." Okay, if you've never been on the dating apps or you're on them and terrified of men, here's what I suggest you do. Okay, you take the info that they have on Hinge and you put it into Google. Okay, you Google them, you find their LinkedIn, their Facebook to verify that they are who they are, that they maybe have friends, that they have a job, that they look normal. And if you decide to go on a date with these men, okay, do it in a public place and meet them there. Okay, as far as like being nervous and those feelings go, it's going to be scary, but you just have to do it. This is dating and it'll get easier. I promise. It's still a little awkward, but you're both doing it. Like, he is there on this first date as well. He's probably feeling the same feelings that you are. And also, I challenge you, like whenever I would go on a first date, I would always go in like I was meeting a friend. Like, more times than not, I would pick a guy on a dating profile that just looked goofy and fun, because at the very least, they're probably going to be funny and I'm going to have a good time. Is it going to be my husband? Probably not, but it makes it easier to go into instead of talking to this man for weeks and weeks and weeks, building him up, being like, "Oh my God, this is my future husband," when most likely he's not. Then you're so nervous and it puts so much pressure on it. I think keeping the conversation to a minimum and just going on to the date, like expecting to have a good time, have a drink, get a coffee, whatever the date is. That's all you really can do. It's always going to be scary. And the longer you hold off, it's not going to help. If you're seriously trying to date, you need to meet people. And if dating apps aren't your thing, then you have to put yourself in social situations, going out to the bar, going to events, which isn't my gig. I would rather do the one-on-one dates. That's far less scary and commitment to me. I enjoy meeting new people and just like, that's what it is, meeting new people. Go like you're going to meet a friend. It doesn't have to be that serious, and then it could go somewhere. But if you really want to date, it's just kind of part of it, and you just got to bite the bullet and do it. And it's going to be okay. And what? Are you scared of embarrassing yourself? What's embarrassing? Like, we're all doing this. We're all trying to meet people and find our person. So I think it's not that scary. And the more you do it, the more you'll get used to it, and just have fun with it. You know, have fun getting ready and have a drink before you go and play some music and like just get excited. It's not that scary. And if it goes bad, it goes bad. What's the worst that happens? You don't have to see this man ever again. Like, if it's awkward, that's okay. That's just not your person, you know? I think it can be fun, and I think you should try and make it fun. And that's my advice. And I just talked for forever, and I'm actually starting to feel sick now that we're sitting here. Carter got sick again yesterday. We've got the Dayquil, the NyQuil. I feel it in my throat. Oh my gosh. I feel like I'm getting drained. Anyways, okay, you guys, I hope that that was fun and funny for you. A little bit less advice, and more just chitty chatty, but I loved that. It was so fun. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you have the best week, and I will see you guys next week, Monday. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Also, if you've been listening, can you guys leave a review on whatever platform? I don't care if it's a 1, I don't care if it's a 5. Just leave a review. I think it helps just push it out there and let the girlies know that the podcast is here. But other than that, I'll never ask anything of you again. I love you. Okay. And I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.